I sometimes get frustrated with David Moyes, particularly when I hear that he knows we need a striker, but he feels that a central defender is the priority. The funny thing is, I don't think I liked it the first time. So when I say the second time. The first time was with Arnautovic in his first stint. I mean the first time during his second stint, if you're with me here. And that is basically when he's brought in... He was after Tarkowski, wasn't he, if you remember. He brought in Dawson as a stopgap, and then it sort of carried on over to next season. And it was when we were looking at Zuma, and I'm still thinking, well, hold on a second, what about a striker? What about a striker? Particularly at that point, in this summer window, I'm thinking, somebody needs to help Antonio out. Why are you looking at a centre-back? We got 3 centre-backs there. Dawson had turned out when we brought him to be better than expected. However... I mean, he was absolutely right, wasn't he, to bring Zuma in. Zuma came in, and I think we saw an immediate improvement, and we saw that fledgling centre-back partnership between Ogbonna and Zuma was really good. I think it's quite difficult sometimes when you see a player and you think, oh, well, it don't get much better than that. Ogbonna, I think for the past couple of seasons, while David Moyes has been here, has been in with a shout of being our best player. You know, when Hammer of the Year comes round, it might have been Souček, might have been Rice, might have been Cresswell, might have been Antonio, might have been Ogbonna. Ogbonna was in there, in that sort of elite group, if you want. So when Zuma came in, and actually Zuma started scoring Zuma's average marks even higher than Ogbonna, Ogbonna was still scoring high marks, but Zuma, even better. I thought, wow, now I get it. Now I understand. Now I understand why David Moyes all this time has been chasing this signing, this... Let's call it his centre-half, the centre-half that he wanted, because it is really worth remembering that Diop and Ogbonna were not his choices. Now, I'm going to be discussing this because I'm going to do a separate video for tomorrow, which is really going to be about why David Moyes is not playing people like Krau, and also, you know, the fact that he's using players that are not his choices, be it reluctantly, like Yarmolenko and Masuaku. We'll go on that tomorrow. Now, Dawson was his choice. Dawson absolutely was David Moyes' choice, but he was still a budget signing. He was a loan signing from Watford. Couldn't get into the Watford team. And eventually, Dawson was so good that we made it permanent. But Dawson was never meant to play the amount of games he's played. Dawson has exceeded all expectations. All expectations, he really has. But I think, as can be seen, when David Moyes had a choice of Ogbonna and Zuma, that was the partnership he went with. Dawson was always meant to be the reserve. So I was impressed. Yet now, and I'm not just saying this because of the injury to Ogbonna, because we're expecting Zuma back soon. We've heard, and I found it frustrating, as this window has approached, that Moyes still, we're hearing the same story again, Moyes still wants to get a striker in, but the central defender's the priority. Thinking, hold on a second, we've heard this before, we got that, we sorted that out, didn't we? That was what Zuma came in for. Why do we need another one? But we do. I mean, we really, really do. I've often looked at, look, when we bought Diop in, and Diop, see, we bought Diop in from Toulouse. I think he was 19. He'd already captained Toulouse as well. Diop was meant to be the next big thing. Diop was the young, up-and-coming, most promising central defender in France. He was meant to go on and you know, get 50-odd caps for France and so on and so forth. And we bought him at that time. It wasn't like he dipped and that allowed us to buy him. We bought a promising young defender. I think we bought him for 23, 24 million. It's a lot of money for a teenage defender. A lot. And I think it was a wise purchase. It's not like we bought a bad player, by the way. You'll remember when Mourinho came up against him and he had a great game. And I think his first season with us, he was immense. Mourinho called him a monster. He said the difference between the two teams today was that West Ham had a monster in defence. As we understand it, you know, we had bids of approaching 50 million for him. We didn't take him. I don't want to go into that now. Okay, or in hindsight, it looks like we should have done. But actually, there weren't too many at that time saying we should sell Diop. People were saying if we've got any ambition, we hang on to players like Diop. As it's turned out, it's not really worked out. And whilst he might have been a good defender for the way Pellegrini wanted to play, which is, it's hard to say that today after we've just seen him sort of play so many bad passes against Leeds in the league. He's certainly not the type of defender that David Moyes wants to play. And I think when David Moyes has come in and he's not used Diop, at times in the past I've been frustrated. Because I thought, well, hold on a second, you've got this really talented central defender there who was meant to be the next big thing. Why can't you coach him? Why can't you turn him into the player that you want, that can fit into the team? You know, surely save us some money. However, I get it now. For the second time, I get it. I didn't get it before with Zuma, then I got it. I didn't get it now. Now I understand. I think it's finally been the opening of my eyes that actually we do need, what David Moyes needs is his own central defenders. That's what he needs, not ones he's inherited. And because we've been linked with Courtney House from, I'm not sure that's how you pronounce it, by the way, the guy from Aston Villa. Now, I've spoken about him before, because he was previously at West Ham's academy. And without labouring too much of the point, when I spoke, because I've mentioned it a matter of days ago, I thought he handled Mikel Antonio really well. The fact that he might not be Aston Villa's first choice central defender, for me, is neither here nor there. I actually don't care. I just want him to be one of David Moyes'. Because I've already seen with Dawson was better than expected, and Dawson didn't really cost much money. If what David Moyes is saying is he wants to bring in another central defender and he's going to use him, he's going to be better suited to his system, then I'm all for it. The one thing that really impressed me about House when I saw him was he was up for the battle with Antonio. And I think that's the one thing that's massively disappointed me about Diop, and it is that he's not up for the battle. I will accept. I don't think it's ideal, a lack of technique from central defenders, but not everyone can be Thiago. I understand that. What I won't stomach and what I really hate is a lack of being up for the battle. And Diop ducking from that ball coming across is not good enough at all. He doesn't seem to enjoy the fight. He doesn't seem to enjoy the scrap. And it's why Zuma clearly does. Zuma really, really enjoys winning those duels. Soufal's the same. I know Soufal didn't have a great game against Leeds, but Soufal is the same. He's attritional when he's really up for it. And so many of our players are. They just battle and they don't stop, and they're gritty. That's the one thing about West Ham. We have grit. And Diop doesn't seem to have it. And I now get it. I understand why probably David Moyes, well, he did decide, because from the moment he walked in, he didn't really show any major desire to use him very much. I think it was the same. There was a couple of times when I saw him pick Balbuena over Diop, and I thought, well, why is he doing that? And I sort of get it. Now I get it now, because I bet David Moyes, as that mantra, you don't run, you don't play. I think David Moyes has probably looked at him from day one, Diop, and thought, you ain't going to do it. You ain't going to battle. You ain't going to scrap. You're not going to do the stuff I want you to do. I think what David Moyes has not done, he's not overly helped himself in terms of getting value for Diop. In terms of us being able to sell him, we'll never see our 23 million back. That much is for sure. But almost that doesn't matter anymore. What does matter is getting the team sorted out and getting defence sorted out. I think they've done as well as they can on occasions. I mean, Diop and Dawson, they got a clean sheet against Leeds in the Cup, got a clean sheet against Norwich. Okay, that's fine, but that's Leeds and Norwich. We've had a revamped Leeds with some better attacking players for this game, and they've been torn to shreds. And thank goodness that Zuma's back, but it ain't going to do it, ain't going to be good enough. And as much as I think Zuma and Dawson will play better than Diop and Dawson, you're still going to have to play Zuma on the left, which is not really where he plays. That's not why we bought him. So you're still moving somebody out of the way. And as I say, Dawson's been an outstanding defender for us in terms of whatever he was, 3 million. I mean, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But I want him to revert back to being the reserve defender, the substitute defender. And actually, so I don't mind that maybe in this window, if it is House, I don't desperately want House to come in above anyone else. I just want David Moyes to get his man, because with Zuma he got his man, and whoever that is, it might be that. I don't rule out that actually David Moyes' man might be someone that comes in for a free in January, so this guy might well be the reserve player as well. We don't know what. I understand I'm not including Ogbonna in this. We don't know what's going to happen. It's a bad injury with Ogbonna, a really, really bad injury. And there's nothing to say Zuma doesn't come back and doesn't get injured. Zuma's got a history of injury. He's had knee problems before, so you just don't know. But my point is, going back to the start of the video, I used to sort of look at David Moyes and think, well, he seemed to be a little bit fixated with bringing in central defenders. I just didn't get it. Now I do. Now I really do, because I think David Moyes looks at a team collectively in terms of like departmental, in terms of how we analyse the team and chops it up. I think he probably looks at West Ham and thinks, well, we can score goals. I know we can score goals. We just can't stop them going in. And I think that's his priority. Doesn't make him a defensive manager. I think we've shown that when we play well, we like to attack. We scored loads of goals this season. But I do agree. I think if we're going to get through to the end of the season now, then we've got to bring in a central defender. I'm not saying don't bring in a striker, by the way. We need that as well. But actually, I now I don't care. I just think it's really hard. It sounds a little bit harsh, maybe, and I'm not a great fan of saying harsh with football opinions. I think you surely should have a sporting opinion without it being harsh. And maybe it sounds a little bit sensationalistic, what I'm about to say, which is I don't particularly want to see Diop too near the first team in big games anymore. And that was a big game today against Leeds. It was. Already did a video a couple of days ago. We needed to win against Leeds and win against Man United, and we were right up there. Excuse me, starting to lose my voice at the moment. With those top clubs, we've taken a bit of a beating today. But I will tell you this now. What I will say, if anyone's got to the end of the video, I know some don't. I often sometimes read comments and somebody has said something that I've already covered in the video. I think, you're not really. I don't blame anyone for not watching it to the end. I'm surprised anyone watches any of this crap. I don't think all the dream is over for the top four. I really don't, by the way. I still think it's on. I really do. But we need to sort it out. I'm just more with Moyes now. I think the defence needs to be looked at.